Today we are going to be touring the BMT 36th Street station, so it's over there. This is the 4th Avenue line, 36th Street in particular. So this is a recreation of the station that I have built, and I have the portal right here. So this is the Culver Cut. Called this because it was originally built as a connection to the Culver line, in fact, not the West End line. West End line? What am I saying? The West End line. So yeah, as a matter of fact, this portal here originally was servicing Culver trains, which is now served by the F line. Over on McDonald's Avenue, which is maybe I think something like 2 miles away, maybe a mile. It's not that far, but it's kind of far. Those are not exact measurements. I'm just giving a guess here. It's about a mile or two away, McDonald's Avenue. We haven't toured any stations there, but this is the portal. You can see the, I believe, South Brooklyn Railway track over there. Somebody will correct me in the comments if that's wrong. And it merges with the West End line, or what was originally the Culver line, the D tracks, so the D train. And what a beautiful sunset, might I add. So if we head up north along 4th Avenue, we eventually run into the station. So it's located at the intersection of 36th Street and 4th Avenue, and I say that because the only entrances are over here. So here it is. So we have 3 entrances. So 36th Street, D, N, and R. So let's enter the mezzanine. So it's a typical BMT mezzanine, although it's I quite like it. This one, by the way, opened June, there we go again, June 22nd, 1915, as part of the dual contracts, which, if you want to learn more about that, go watch my complete New York City subway timeline video. So, again, this station, as you saw, on the entrance signs, is serviced by the D, N, and R trains. Of course, it wasn't always like that. The D train previously was servicing the Brighton line, which is a couple miles to the east. Let's grab a minecart from the MetroCard machine. And here's the booth. There's no employee here this time. So let's enter the station. So entry, DNR. So Manhattan and the Bronx and Queens. Yes, it's always interesting when a Brooklyn station acknowledges the Bronx, because it's just so far away from this station, but it does get acknowledged, which I always find interesting. So here's the platform. It has a low ceiling. Well, if you count the supports across the pillars, that is, or the cross beams above them as the ceiling, then this one is quite a bit lower than the typical height. You can see over there where we have the typical height that there is a noticeable difference. There's this wall here dividing most of the station. If you couldn't tell, this is a dual island express station, so there is another set of tracks and island platform over there as well. You have a tiled mosaic over here, 36th Street, indicating the station's name. Then, interestingly, you have a walkway over here. Of course, you wouldn't be able to access this if you don't work for the MTA, but I find it interesting how that's there. I believe that they put signals on that. I mean, it's quite a convenient spot to put signals, so sure, why not? So this end, the extreme north end of the platform, has no wall. Instead, it has the typical BMT branch pillars, which you can see here. They are branched, so you can see through them, sort of. And you can see into the tunnel as well. Okay, so here's the announcements. So first, the R. It looks like I'll have to load it. Okay, there we go. And I still have the minecart texture from the Z train joke video. So I'll have to set that to R and it will play.
This is a Manhattan-bound R train. The next stop is 25th Street.
And here's the D.
This is a Manhattan-bound D express train. The next stop is
Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Center.
And the N, which also uses the express track.
This is a Manhattan-bound N train. The next stop is Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Center.
There we go. So they'll take quite the jump there. Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Center is about 4,000 meters away. I haven't built that, but I know where it will go. And yeah, so it's quite the jump. Of course, the R train is local, so it will be stopping at all 4 stations between. So now let's go over to the southbound platform so that you guys can hear the southbound announcements, and I will show you guys something that I did with the map on the other side. And there are another set of staircases over here. So there's one here and there is another one behind that wall. So let's go over here and cross over. Let's take this one. Bay Ridge and Coney Island, D, N, and R. So first off, I will play the announcements. Then I'll show you guys that there is a junction already built over there.
This is a Bay Ridge 95th Street bound R local train. The next stop is 45th Street.
Alright, so there's the R announcement. Then you have the, yep, it's right there. It's a bit hard to tell with the shaders on because the tracks are quite dark. So here are the express ones. Well, the D is not going to be express anymore because it switches to the West End Culver line. Z, what am I thinking?
This is a Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue bound D train. The next stop is 9th Avenue.
And N.
This is a Coney Island bound N train. The next stop is 59th Street.
And of course you can tell that I recorded that one by it being the worst recording. Okay, so over here we have a map. So I'm going to start including a "You are here" sign on the map. So you are here, and it's pointing towards 36th Street, which is right there. It's interesting how I can read it better when I'm not zoomed in. See, I can sort of make out that that says 36th Street, but then when I zoom in, it's just a blur. That's so strange. Odd. So, yes, those will split off. So the D follows the orange route this way to 9th Avenue, and the N and R follow this path. The R will stop at 45th Street, and the N will stop at 59th Street, and then it will make its way east and towards Coney Island. And the other line that I was mentioning, the Culver line, for those of you who don't know, used to follow this road right here, and it would continue to Ditmas Avenue, and then this is the current Culver line here. So Ditmas Avenue to Coney Island, that is the remaining part of the original Culver line, right there, as well as 9th Avenue. on the D, despite it being separated from the real Culver line over here. Of course, this is the I and D Culver line, but it isn't really the Culver line, but it is. So, okay, so that's that. And again, if I go over here, it's the same thing. There are name mosaics along the center dividing wall and along the retaining wall. And again, same thing over here because, well, you could see it from the other side. And there's no exits over here. The extreme north end of the platform is very far from the exits. You have to walk all the way over to 36th Street. Over here. So then I will show you guys the junction, which is over here. So it's currently just set for D trains. When I extend 4th Avenue, well, the road is extended, but when I extend the line, the BMT line, south, then I will make that switch functional, but for now it's just set up for the D, and of course this will just go up here and bend towards the portal over here, the Culver Cut. Okay, so the other thing, there is a set of abandoned tracks over here. So here they are. It's hard to see them because it's dark. But, well, it's not a set. It's a single lane, I guess, of abandoned tracks over here. And I guess then a space forms once the D train ramps up. So you do have space here. I'll hold a light source so you can sort of see better. There you go. So you have an abandoned track here, and then the space that appears after the D train leaves. Okay, so that will be it for this tour. I was originally going to build 50th Street for this tour, 50th Street on the I&D 8th Avenue lines, but I decided to finish this one. But 50th Street will probably be the next tour because I've made quite a bit of progress on the exits.